Welcome back. It's been a while, everyone. Want to take a minute and say Happy New Year. Welcome officially to 2024. So for today's video, I wanted to review and do a self-reflection on 2023. So kicking it off, I'm going to be using the 2024, the B6 Full Year Common Planner. You guys have seen my previous videos before. This is going to be my main planner for this year. And I'm really excited because, first of all, it is like brand new. As you can see, I started doing some work in it, but this will be for the whole year. My previous experience with the Common Planner was only the half year, and I only used it for part 2. It got a lot of love. I have a few pages left here where I should have been journaling more, but I just couldn't find the time. But I still did do all the monthlies, and I try to keep up with as much as possible, but it is nice and chunky and thick and well loved. We're not going to be going through the full notebook or the full planner today. We've already kind of done the tour of 2024 Common Planner. A video for that is right up here. I got this idea originally from another YouTuber who focuses a lot on productivity. His name is Ali Abdal. I'll put a link to the original video below. He uses a tool called the Wheel of Life. And I particularly love this because it helps you look at your life so you can reflect on it in easy, consumable chunks. The first thing we're going to do here is for 2023 is we're going to create a circle and break it out into 3 chunks. So let me get started. I have this PF Candle Company candle lid from this candle that I just lit. You know what? And it's actually a perfect circle. So I'm going to use the bigger side. I'm not very artistic, and this will save me a lot more time. See? And even with that, it's still not great. But that's okay. What you're going to do here is you're going to draw a circle and then divide it into thirds. So here's one. It's like a little pizza. Okay? Or you know what? A peace sign. And the 3 categories is going to be, this one is wellness. Okay. And then the other side is going to be relationships. And then the bottom one is going to be like work or career. I'm going to call it work. And then for each of these sections, we're going to have 3 more sections. And this is really going to help us break it down. So for wellness, just think of it as like mind, body, soul. This. Okay. So then it's mind. Oops, and I'm smearing it a little bit. Body and soul. And then for the relationships, it's going to be I guess it should be even, but mine are not drawn to scale. Family, friends, romance. And you can interpret that however you like. Career or work, you know, your job, growth, money. So now you have these 9 slices, and each of them have their, they're all equal in weight. And what you want to do here is reflect back on each of these areas and score yourself out of 10. And it's really not about, did you achieve, your ideal state? It's not about that. It's really more about what is realistic to you and maybe any goals you had set for last year, assuming those were realistic and achievable. So you have to think about, out of 10, how would you score yourself in terms of your alignment? The way Ali describes it or defines it as alignment is my actions in the here and now are consistent with where I want to be. Because it's not about unachievable, unrealistic goals or standards that you put for yourself. It's about what is realistic and what is healthy. So let's start with mind. I gave myself a 7 out of 10. And that's really more because I've been using the later half of this year thinking more critically about current events, the news, even choosing books to read that were a little bit more, I don't want to say educational, but maybe more informational. Memoirs and stories about people and places. So I felt like it was feeding my brain with new information where I'm constantly curious and wanting to learn more. Now, the reason why I didn't give my mind a much higher score than this, despite reading some interesting books and trying to learn more, is that I did find myself having a hard time concentrating. I've realized as with age, I'm really distracted, and I don't think I can multitask anymore. I also realize I crave a lot of quiet time, right? So whether it's like listening to soothing music or just sitting out on the deck with my cup of coffee to look at the leaves, getting up early to just plan, these are things I crave and that I need, but I find myself not being able to do it. So it makes me antsy throughout the day, throughout the week. And so again, it like really inhibits my mind from kind of going beyond just getting through the day, if that makes sense. Body, I gave myself a 6 out of 10. Struggled with this because I feel like maybe it should be higher, and the score wasn't necessarily because of how I look. Maybe it's a little bit more about how I feel. I did spend more time being more mindful about the exercises or the workouts I do. If you saw my previous video, I also I found a way to incentivize myself to work out, and actually is paying myself $5 a day for every day I work out for more than 30 minutes, and that's been really great. And I've been racking up a few dollars here and there. So, holding myself accountable and exercising is working. Maybe it should be a little bit higher, but I gave my score that because it is an area that I want to continue to focus on and not lose track of in 2024. For my soul, I gave myself a 5 out of 10. This is another area where I think I may be a little harder on myself than I should be, but when I think of soul, there's multiple aspects to it. I wasn't seeing my therapist as consistently just because time, and also it was more of a maintenance. So I would just reach out to her whenever I needed her, and she was always available, so that was a plus. But I felt like it was more reactive rather than proactive. So that's an area where next year, or actually this year, I plan on meeting with her more regularly. Now, I think the reason why I gave myself a lower score for soul is when I think about it from a spiritual perspective. I consider myself a very secular person. However, this is the first year where I'm starting to reevaluate that, starting to question and think about religion a little bit more. A fun fact about me, I was a religion major in college, so this stuff is just inherently really interesting to me. So this is the first time in maybe about 10-15 years where I really am sitting down and kind of reevaluating where I am in regards to my spiritual journey. Let's move on to the relationships part. So starting with the family, I gave myself a 7 out of 10. My husband and my son, I think the score is fairly high. We are a tight-knit family. There's only 3 of us, so it is a little bit more manageable. We're able to spend a lot of quality time together, but giving a lot of attention to my son, focusing on some of the extracurriculars, and being very present as he does those, whether it's piano, basketball, swim, soccer. And I think he recognizes that. We spend a lot of time together, usually every night reading a chapter or half a chapter of Harry Potter. So that's a new tradition we're doing right now. With my extended family, also relatively high-ish. I got to see my sister, who came to visit us in Philadelphia this year. My mom and dad also came to the East Coast to come see us, which was really nice because they also got to escape the hot weather where they live. And then for my in-laws, we were blessed to see them twice this year, even though they live overseas. And in their second trip, they were here for a much longer time. And then for the rest of my family, we have some cousins and extended family that we've been able to see this year. So that was really great. In particular, we have one cousin who is very close to us, both geographically as well as, I guess, from a relationship perspective. So we've been spending a lot of time with her. I think the score is pretty high, hovering around 7 to 8. But now with friends, I gave myself also a 7 out of 10. This is a year where I'm starting to learn that it's not so much about the number of friends you have or how often you make new friends, but it's really about the quality of the friends you have. So 7 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10 because, there's always more that you can give, right? So for romance, getting a little personal here, I'm giving myself a 3 out of 10. And this is not because our marriage is bad or anything. Actually, our marriage and our relationship is wonderful. It's near perfect, honestly. He is like my best friend and I love him to pieces. We're always there for each other and we make time for each other. So it's not so much our relationship piece because I've been focusing a lot of time in these other areas, and you'll see more here in the work area. I think the romance part of our marriage has suffered a little bit, mainly due to me. So whether it is, making more time for date nights, one-on-one connections, both, I guess mainly physically, I want to make more of an effort to show a bit more romantic side of me because he deserves it. For the career, gave myself a 9. I think in early 2023, I was at that crossroads. I joked that it was like a midlife crisis when it came to work, where I didn't know if I liked my job. I had just moved into a new role. I didn't know if I was happy, if I wanted to stay there. I started kind of looking around to see if there are other options. But what happened was, I think at the end of the day, I just wanted a little bit of recognition, and I got that. In addition to getting promoted in the first quarter of 2023, I also celebrated my 5-year anniversary at my company just last month. It was a really nice way to start and end the year, and giving myself a 9 out of 10. Now, this doesn't mean that in my role that I really kicked ass. Maybe that's where the growth number will come in. It was a new role, building a foundation and investing the time in that work, learning what I didn't know, so that 2024 will be like gangbusters when it comes to new opportunities, new deals, and growing our side of the business. In regards to growth here, I gave myself a 6 out of 10, mainly because for my professional career, I've been talking about, both to myself and to my manager, about taking these online classes at Wharton, leadership and organizational psychology. I've been talking about it maybe for at least 2 years, and I haven't been able to do it. I want this year to be the year I do it, so hopefully if I do that in 2024, when we reflect back a year from now, this will be a 10 out of 10. I really think it's time to take my career piece to the next level by doing a little bit more education and work that's outside of my company. Maybe not really related to work, but in other areas where I have shown growth is specifically with this YouTube channel. I started it in the middle of 2023. I had very little, if any, video editing experience. I kind of sometimes still don't know what I'm doing, but with every video I make, I'm always learning something new. I think that's pretty cool. It is just something I really enjoy doing that hopefully one day will maybe amount to something. But if anything, it's a nice way for me to have my own reflections and to share with you all just some new learnings and how I'm using my planner and any other discoveries and things I do. Now, last but not least, for money, I gave myself a 7 out of 10. And this isn't necessarily because I saved a lot of money or anything. It was mostly about I was financially stable this year. We didn't save that much, we're not in debt, and we're just fine. I'm personally very proud of that. I bought my, I guess, dream car. I've always wanted an electric vehicle. Now that's something where I do have a little bit of debt. We pay it every month. So I'm thinking about in the next 2 years, how can I pay that off so it's not carrying over for the next 3 to 5 years. We also had to get a second car. Now that we're in the suburbs, we needed a second car. About 1.5 years ago, we have put down an order for a hybrid for this little compact little truck called the Maverick, and it finally arrived in October. So again, I didn't save a lot, we spent a lot, and at the end of the day, we're still standing. So I'm very thankful for that. So I gave myself a relatively high score here. So that's it. This is the wheel of life. So let's put a note here. This is the 2023 reflections. And this will help me figure out how I want to focus or what I want to focus on in 2024. A few key things that I'm looking to do in 2024. So some of the key areas I want to focus on in 2024 is where I scored myself 6 and lower. So that would be my body, my soul, romance, and growth. So let's start with the easy one. For growth, I want to start the Wharton business classes. And fortunately for me, my work does compensate about 2% of my salary every year towards these type of classes, programs, etc. In terms of my soul, this will really mainly be about unplugging. I want to move away from social media. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I find myself reading a lot on social media, and there's just so much information, and I just find myself, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I got 5 minutes, I can just scroll and see what's going on with my friends, my family, in the world, and next thing I know, it's like an hour later and I feel horrible. So I think it's good for me to kind of step away from social media a little bit. So I think unplugging will really be the area where it's going to make the most improvement for me and for my body. So I want to continue the habit of working out. Wanted to do 3 workouts a week for about 30 minutes plus, and that's what I've been doing in 2023. Also, I wanted to do a monthly challenge. So that might be like some sort of Peloton program. They always have these like 4 to 6 week programs, like your core workouts, strength training, yoga. I think it's a good way for me to just be consistent with something every month. I'm just going to call it a monthly Peloton challenge. And this is really fun for me to do with Ellie as well, because then we can do something together. The other big one here is I'm going to invest in a standing desk. I work from home most of the time unless I'm traveling for work. And all my work is done on the computer, like via Zoom or emails, etc. So I'm always sitting. Not only is that bad for you, it's giving me a flat butt. And also it is making it hard for me to, I don't know, it's hurting my posture and I'm not getting the steps I need. An area that I want to focus on this year is going to be my arms. So tone and lean. All right, so I think those are the main areas. Oh, I forgot, and then romance. Last but not least, by unplugging and focusing, my body's gonna make me feel better, more confident, not gonna be as distracted with social media. So when we unwind at night, I'm gonna be a little bit more present, less distracted. I don't wanna put a number to it, but I just wanna do better. Let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna be a little heart, Riley. So that's it for my 2023 reflections. Areas of focus for 2024. Comment below on what your goals are, what you've learned in 2023, what worked for you, what you're proud of, what did you accomplish, and where you want to go next year. And before we close out today, I wanted to just do a quick scan of what I've done so far in the 2024 planner. Again, brand new, really excited. This is the first few pages that I've written in here. I received the January sticker subscription from Sterling Ink, and I'm starting to do my weekly spread. I'm trying something a little bit different, writing it all out, then putting in the stickers, and I'll fill it in as we go. At the end of the week, we are leaving for our big family vacation to Mexico. So very, very, very excited. And then moving to the back here, I'm using this wonderful dashboard page, which I love. I have my January kind of metrics and goals. Here is just a printout of my check-in from my boss, just as a reminder. And then January 2nd is today. I started journaling a little bit, and that is that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like going on this journey with me. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear more about what you're looking to do and achieve and be proud of in the upcoming year. So thanks so much. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.